Hey guys, Micah from blackbearcustomkydex coming at you with a quick video. I say quick now, but I'm probably lying. This is my 5th take on this video. The last one was the only full take I got, and it was like 15 minutes long. So I'm going to try to condense this one down a bit more than that. In any event, you can probably tell by the title of the video, but this is a video on a couple sheaths that I made for Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids. If you haven't already checked him out, please go over to his channel. He's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Vero, Twitter, Tumblr, I think. And he's got some great stuff. He reviews tons and tons of different types of gear, and he's just a great guy. So anyway, Tim and I collaborated on a project earlier this year, and he had sent me a bunch of knives, and I did a bunch of sheaths for him, and then he reviewed it on his channel. So go check out that video. I'll try to link that in the description box below. And then recently I saw him post something on the Tops Operator 7 on Instagram, and I said, hey, you want some Kydex for that thing? Because I've been wanting to check this knife out and been wanting to try my hand at Kydexing it, and also just trying to hook up another project with Tim. So he was gracious enough to accept that, and he also sent me the Tops little bugger to piggyback on there. So I'm going to show you a couple sheaths I just made for him with that. We have one he asked for in Kryptek Typhon Micro. You can see that pattern there. I apologize for the lighting. I hope it's all showing up okay. It looks good on my screen, but it always comes out a little different once I upload it on YouTube. So, all right. So we got Kryptek Typhon Micro and Hunter Orange for the little bugger. He also had Thyrm. That's T-H-Y-R-M. I think I'm saying that right. I apologize if I'm not. But T-H-Y-R-M, Thyrm, makes these little watertight excuse me, these watertight storage units particularly for batteries, but you could obviously put anything that'll fit in there. And this is called the Cell Vault. I think this model's the XL, so Thyrm Cell Vault XL, also in a Hunter Orange. It's not quite a perfect match. You probably can't tell. It's all like lighting up crazy on the camera, but oh, there we go. This is a little bit darker than this, but they still match up really nicely. So how this thing works is it's held by the shock cord. Well, first off, it's mounted onto this plate. And the plate just clips into, there's a clip running along the back of the Thyrm. And to access it, what you need to do is take this shock cord off, push this tab. You can see it pop open. And then you just swing it open on its hinge, and you can access your content here. Closing it up, you just obviously close the hinge and make sure it's aligned. I actually had a little bit of trouble on the last video trying to do this, but you just got to make sure they're aligned. You close and pull that tab over so it's locked in nice. Excuse me, I'm a little bit sick, so I've been coffee and phlegmy and all that, so not all that fun. But in any event, we got this shock cord here. All you got to do is run it under that tab, and then you pull it up over here, over the hinge, and sort of behind it, like that. And what that does is just protects it in case you do accidentally clip that tab on something. You can see that shock cord didn't allow it to move much, so you can't really get that open. It'll stay shut, your stuff's not going to fall out. So that's why that's there. Alright, let's check out the knives in it. So we have the little bugger. It doesn't sound like it really clicks in too sturdy because, well, first off, it's a much smaller sheath, and by nature of the size of the handle and just the shape of it all, I wanted to keep just the part that actually grips the handles really small. So that does affect the Kydex click. The less material there, the less the click is likely to be. But another reason why is because it's riding really low profile. Excuse me, guys. So where it's riding so low profile, it just doesn't have a lot of room to wiggle around, so that click is going to be a little bit muted. To get at the sheath, you've got to get in that thumb ramp. Now, because of the molding on the Operator 7 sheath, you can't just get straight at it. So what you want to do is just sort of flex it. If you can see here, it does flex pretty comfortably. It's sturdy, but it moves. So you just, what I do is I get my fingers in here like so, and just flex it away, and that provides enough clearance over here to get my thumb on that thumb ramp, and then it slides right out. So I know that all sounds a little bit cumbersome, but as you're accessing it, it's really not a big deal. Alright, so there's that. Now let's put in the operator 7. I think that slides in really nice, and the Kydex click. So this thing has no rattle in it, there's no play, and it's certainly not going to fall out on you. However, the draw is exceptionally easy. You can see I've just created this big tunnel for the finger guard or hand guard, whatever you want to call it, to pass through. Fits in like so. And this is similar to the idea that Tops is using for their factory sheath for this thing. Let me show you that really quick. So I'm really impressed by this sheath in particular from Tops. Most of their sheaths are pretty good. They're functional, they're definitely serviceable, and Tops, in my opinion, does the best, out of the box factory sheaths. I say factory, but just so you guys know, they're all actual leather or Kydex, handcrafted sheaths. They just have a department that does that, and usually they do that with every individual knife gets molded with its own sheath. So you're not, it's not like they take one Tops bob and they just keep that in the sheath department and make a sheath with that Tops bob for every one that gets produced from their factory. No, every single Tops bob goes through and is actually wrapped with Kydex and put in a press and all that, so you get a perfect fit for every individual knife. That's one of the many reasons why I think Tops is just one of the greatest knife companies out there. But in any event, this in particular I think is their best factory sheath. So I'm not sure with this one if they are doing a mass-produced thing, because I don't see any indication that a molding prop was used to, you just don't see any kind of lines or anything. So I almost think they just have one operator 7 with a big blade stock that's just in the shape of the sheath, and they just do it like that. I could be wrong, but that's my suspicion. In any event, you can hear that click is monstrous, and this has absolutely no rattle, no play. It's super solid. It takes a lot of force to get it in there, but drawing it is really easy. So if you do have an operator 7, you already know that this is a really nice sheath as far as factory sheaths go. But nevertheless, we like to upgrade and get something a little more visually appealing, a little more functional, has a lot of carrying options, and that's that. So real quick, showing you the carry setup on this guy. It's got a combat loop, which is very similar to a tech lock. The only difference is instead of having to, swing a little gate here, well, here, I might as well show you the other sheath first, and then I can compare them, because I did put a tech lock on the other one. So, alright, the other sheath I did in leather, and I asked him if I could just do 2 different sheath systems for him, one wrapped in leather, because this is kind of becoming my premier option, or premium option, or whatever you want to call it. So, I've actually taken veg tan leather, dyed it myself, and you can see that instead of just making it flush with the edges like I was doing with leather wrap before, I've extended the leather beyond the Kydex and created a hand stitch seam along the edge. So I just think that looks really nice, really classy. It gives a whole other feel to this leather over Kydex thing, and I think I'm the only one doing that seam right now, so for whatever that's worth. Not that other guys can't do it or anything, obviously. It's just something I think I pulled the trigger on that before anybody else. So I really love the look of the leather, the feel of the leather. It's gratifying to do leather work. It takes a slightly different skill set, and yeah, I really enjoy that. So if you guys are interested in having that sort of premium leather over Kydex look, I can do that for you. Just contact me and we'll get a price going. So alright, check out the knives in this guy, in the leather one. I apologize, I've been a little bit sick. I got like a head cold or something, so my voice is bad, I'm stuffy, all that good stuff. So here we go. We got the Tops little bugger, and if you notice, I did put it lower on this sheath. It's a slightly different setup, whoops, altogether. So did I just do that twice? Man, you can tell I'm sick. So this one has a plate that goes, virtually across the whole tip of the sheath to hold the Thyrm on there. Whereas this one is just a small plate that clips, that's screwed on here. So just trying two different options, see how they came out. And I think both of them work really nicely. It's just a matter of preference. So in any event, with a smaller plate here, I was able to put the little bugger lower, which allows a little more accessibility, so you don't have to do any of the flexing to get at that thumb rim. So it's a little bit more utilitarian here. Checking out the Operator 7. Looking pretty nice. Again, there's no rattle. Knife's not coming out, but the draw is exceptionally easy. So, and especially with that leather on the edge there, it just adds a little more padding for your thumb. So it's not an issue on the all Kydex one, but it just feels nice and cushy on this one. So in any event, that's what we got. Let me show you the difference between the Tech Lock and the combat loop, because I am doing a lot of combat loops lately. People are asking for them a lot. So the difference primarily is that with the Tech Lock, you have to swing this gate down, and then you can pinch these fins together, and it opens up like so. It's a very, very solid system. I would say it's probably a little more solid than the combat loop, but the combat loop is strong as well, and it functions very similarly. The only difference is, so it's locked right now. What you got to do is slide this tab over, and then you can push the button. One more time. So you slide, click that over, and then you can push this in. Once that's pushed in, the gate can swing open. On the inside, the difference is that this is the only belt spacer bar, and it's adjustable in all of those different rungs. And on the Tech Lock, there are actually two. You can see them right there, two spacers there. So I think you can use that one spacer in this to accommodate for the same range of belt spacings as the Tech Lock, but having two might be preferable. So in any event, I do these for $5 cheaper than the Tech Lock because these cost me a little less money to buy. So food for thought in case you guys are interested. But all right, so there we go. There are the two sheaths for you. I'm almost at 13 minutes, so I'm going to wrap it up. At least it's a little bit shorter than the other one, but quick shout out, Tim. Thank you so much for doing this, for reviewing my work, letting me Kydex a couple more knives for you, and for all the business that you've helped send my way. Really appreciate it. And guys, if you haven't already checked him out, definitely go over and check him out. Everyday Tactical Vids. Tons of great gear reviews, and he's just a great guy. So support his channel. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and stick around for the next one. God bless.